So, you want to get back into reading? Well, you're in luck, because I'm here to help. I was inspired to make this video because I was chatting with my oldest sister. She texted me and she said, I really want to get back into reading and you read all the time. Can you please tell me some books to read because I don't know what to read anymore. And I think that this is a very, very common problem because our lives are so busy. Like, take my sister, for example. She is a mom of 3 beautiful little children. She works as a teacher. She works in 2 different schools. She's very active in her community. She's active in her church community. She's got a lot going on, as do all of us. So, whether you are a busy parent, whether you are in school, whether you just feel like you don't have the mental energy, whether you are like me and you have a lot of chronic illnesses that hold you back, it can be difficult to get back into reading sometimes. So today, I'm here to give you some tips on how to find books that are going to be good for you to get back into reading. Now, I do want to make a part 2 of this video, and I'll talk about that a little bit at the end, so stay tuned for that and I'll explain more as we go. But starting off, how do you even find a good book at the library or at the bookstore? Because there's so many books out there, right? So the best way to figure out what books you even like is to examine other types of media that you enjoy. For example, let's think about your favorite movies and what genre they're in. What do you like about them? Right off the cuff, let's think about my favorite movies. Some of my favorite movies. I love Pride and Prejudice. I love You've Got Mail. I love Lord of the Rings. I love Ocean's 11. So those are some movies that I really, really love. What do I like about them? Pride and Prejudice. I love classics. I love reading classics. You've Got Mail. I generally don't actually like reading romance, but I do love books about books, media about books and reading. That entire movie is about 2 bookshop owners and what reading does to you. What was the 3rd movie I listed? Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, the best franchise of all time. Of course I love the Lord of the Rings books. They're very intimidating to read, though. I get that. But what do I love about Lord of the Rings? I love the found family. I love the connections. I love the bravery. I love the idea of working through something even though it's incredibly difficult and finding the light in the darkness. And I love fantasy. What was the last movie I said? Ocean's 11. I love a heist. I love a good heist. It's funny, it's creative, it's clever. I love Ocean's 11. So, think about movies like that. Okay, so if you love a heist movie, then maybe try and find a heist type book. Look at the type of media that you enjoy consuming and then try and pinpoint what it is you like about that. And then that can help steer you in the right direction of the entire selection of your library or the entire selection of the bookstore. So, maybe you love mystery movies, go to the mystery section of the bookstore, and then, or the library. And then, my next tip, I guess, would also be to just walk around and see what catches your eye. If something catches your eye, pick the book up. Read the first 10 pages of it. Read the synopsis, read the first 10 pages of it. That will give you an idea of if you jive with the writing style, if it sounds interesting to you. And just keep doing that until you find something that seems intriguing. Generally, I think when you're getting back into reading, it can be hard to jump into really large books. So maybe go for a short story collection in a genre that you like, or a novella. Those, I think, are getting more and more popular, at least that from the media that I'm consuming. It seems like they're getting more and more popular, and that is an easy way to jump right in. It feels like a win because you can finish it incredibly quickly. Something that I also would recommend is trying out graphic novels. I never consumed graphic novels as a kid. That was not really the type of books that I was reading, but I end up really liking them as an adult. There's some that have been really, really fun for me to dive into, and they're generally pretty quick to read because it's mostly pictures. So maybe try that out. There's, I just got one in the mail today. I'll show you this because I'm really excited. This is Gumshoe by Brenna Thumler. I won a giveaway on Instagram that she did. This is her newest book. She has another series called Sheets, which I really, really loved. And I'll just show you some of the pages. How cute is that? So this is a middle grade graphic novel, but there are ones that are completely adult. There are horror graphic novels. Try that out. Maybe that can be a good way to feel like, again, an easy win that can get you snowballing into reading more and more and more. I also think that when it comes to, if you're wandering around in the library or in the bookstore, go to the section of most popular books. There's always a table at bookstores that are, super popular books. There are generally staff picks. Look at them, because as much as I'd like to be a hater of like the super popular books, they're popular for a reason, and some of them are really, really good. Now, there's going to be trial and error no matter what, and no matter how many books you read in a year, there will be some that you probably don't like, and that's totally fine and totally normal. Not every book is for everyone, and if every book was for everyone, that would be incredibly boring, because we're all different people and we all come from different circumstances. But take a look at that most popular shelf. See if any of those stand out to you, and then again, read the first 10 pages. See if you like the writing style. See if the story sounds intriguing to you. If you want to continue reading, that's a good sign. And then also, I would say another great tip: go to the library. Go to the library. If you don't have the money to spend on a bunch of new books, like most of us, I think, in this time of life, in this economy, it's difficult to drop a bunch of money on books, especially if you don't know if you're going to like them. But do you know what's free? The library. Now, maybe you have something that's preventing you from physically going to a library. Maybe there's not a library that is close to you in your area. Maybe you have a disability. Maybe you just socially don't want to go to a library. The Libby app is wonderful. If you don't know, Libby is an app that you put your library card information in, and then it gives you access to your library's digital catalog of ebooks and audiobooks. Audiobooks, also a great way to get back into reading, especially if you're someone who likes podcasts. Listening to an audiobook can feel very similar, especially if you choose nonfiction. There's lots of really cool nonfiction out there that's not self-help. I'll probably go over that in the part 2 of this video series, but yeah, that can also be a really great way to do it. And if you have a Kindle or any other type of e-reader, Kobo, there's not another one that I can think of at the top of my head. I'm sure there's others that exist out there. You can use Libby on your Kindle. That's what I do. I don't pay for Kindle Unlimited. I don't buy ebooks. I just use Libby, put them on my Kindle, and sometimes it's easier to read on a Kindle than it is on a phone. But also, sometimes it's really easy to just read on your phone, because then anytime you have the urge to open social media, you can open the Libby app instead. Life hack for you there. So, those are some general tips on how to find books that you'll like and how to kind of start that whole process of getting back into reading. Next, I want to tell you about some tools that I think are helpful for getting back into reading. And by tools, I mean apps. So there are a couple of rating, reviewing apps out there, book tracker apps out there. So I'll just kind of go over the 3 that I generally use, why I like them, why I think they can be helpful. The first one is Goodreads. This is the most common one. I mostly use it these days because it is the easiest one to connect with people. A lot of people have Goodreads, and so it's easy for people to see what I'm reading, and I update that as well. And there is a very, very large database. Because Goodreads is owned by Amazon, the entire Amazon database is in Goodreads. And so sometimes it can be hard on other apps to find, if you're reading like a really niche book that has a very small readership, it can be hard to find it on those apps, whereas Goodreads has such a large database that you'll probably be able to find it on there. Back in the day, I also used to read a lot more reviews on Goodreads. I think that the reviewing part is easy to access there. The user interface is not the best for Goodreads, I will say, but it is kind of like the standard app that most people use. And one other downside of it, I will say, is that there are no half-star or quarter-star ratings. I don't know why. All of us have been saying that we want that for a very long time, so if anyone from Goodreads is watching this video, just do it. It can't be that difficult to program that in there. I don't know anything about programming, and I know it can't be that hard. Okay, the next app that I would recommend is Storygraph. This is another rating tracker app. There's really cool things. They do lots of really fun graphs and things. I actually don't track my reading in Storygraph that much, but something that I really, really love for Storygraph is the way they have the content warnings set up. This is something that I find very helpful. I don't like to read anything that has graphic sex or violence in it, or really any sexual content at all. It's not my jam. So when I want to know if a book that sounds intriguing has those things in it, it can be really hard if you just Google it. Generally, there's like not a lot of information, but I found on Storygraph I'm able to find that book, and then they have in there, I can put like maybe a little screen recording right here of content warnings. And then you can even click through and see like the spoilers ones. You can see them on a scale of how severe to mild they are, and that's something that I find very, very helpful as someone who is trying to avoid more of that graphic content. The last app that I will tell you about is Fable. Fable is a newer app. I like it. I think that it's very fun. I think that Fable has the best user interface. Out of these 3 apps, Fable has the best user interface in my personal opinion. I think it's really cute and really fun. It also has half and quarter star ratings. So does Storygraph, by the way. I just really like the way that Fable is set up. Something that I don't personally really interact with that much, but I know a lot of people love about it, is there's also a big community feature on Fable. You can post on it kind of like it is a social media and have friends and comment. And if you're into that, a lot of people love it. You can also run book clubs. Why did it take me that long to think of the word book club? Book clubs on Fable. And then they also have like, you can read the book in the Fable app and then put notes and stuff in it if you're in a book club, which I think is really cool. I don't think that you can transfer like from Libby or whatever like onto the Fable app. I think you either have to make an in-app purchase, or some of them are free because they are in the public domain. Like some classics are in the public domain, and so those are free to access, I believe. But yeah, that is a pretty cool feature. So those are all of my kind of general tips for you on how to find books that you want to get into. I will say also, with all 3 of the apps that I just mentioned, they also have listicles of books that are popular in specific genres, and recommendations. Also on the Libby app, you can go through and it will generally, like, you can choose which genre and you can look through and it will give you recommendations. It will also give you like recommendations of what's most popular at your library right now. That's another really great way to look into it, and you can read samples on Libby as well. So that first 10 pages thing still applies to Libby, which is fantastic. I will make a part 2 of this video, and this is where I need your help. If you want to get back into reading, and you were into reading before, I would like you to comment what your favorite book used to be, or still is in your mind, what books you really loved reading before, and I will give you some specific recommendations for books that you might love now. I think that can be a really great way. Like, for example, I read a lot of Percy Jackson, The Hunger Games, Harry Potter. I didn't read Twilight, but I know a lot of people read Twilight. Fablehaven, I loved Fablehaven. So, you know, kind of those popular book series, as well as like any book that you loved as a kid. Comment, let me know what you liked, and I will come up with more specific book recommendation list, as well as recommendations for nonfiction that is not boring. So, thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any more questions. Let me know where you're at in your reading journey. I hope this is helpful to someone out there. It's an idea that I really like the concept of because I love reading so much, so if I can bring the joy of reading to anyone else, I will do it as much as I can. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!